everybody, welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. Yeah, the comedians come on board. They talk a lot of stuff about what's going on in the world of sports. They give us their take, and they've been in and around the game for such a long time. Speaking of comedians, I got to bring in my man Talent first, and I got to apologize for being about 20 seconds late. Talent, I just saw Bill Cosby's case got overturned, brother, by the Supreme Court, so my whole thing got messed up. I gotta, saw that flash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna dive into that and take a look at that as soon as this show is over, because it looks like the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned Bill Cosby case, and if that's the case, he's getting out. So anyway, I digress. Talent, how you doing, brother? How's everything?
Oh, you just made my day.
Right?
Yeah, I was having an okay day, but now you just made my damn day, bro. I can't wait to get off and dive into it.
Yeah, I can't either. I gotta read the whole thing about that case and everything else. Next up is my man Fig. Fig, how you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing better and better and better and better and better, better, boy. I done heard the news. You just told me Bill Cosby's case been overturned. I've been saying that all the time. I've been on Bill Cosby's side.
Yeah, me too.
Bill Cosby's side the whole time.
Hey, Frank, that's the COVID report. We can leave. All right.
That's the COVID report. Let me bring in our sports connoisseur too, my man Amir Barocksealy. Man, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. I saw that and heard that information just before we came on air. Same, I'm with you guys, man. Great news. The only other thing I'll tell y'all is if you're in New York, please stay indoors. It's 753 degrees outside, so stay indoors.
I believe it because that's why my AC is melting out here, bro. I it's bad. Yo, that's that global warming, but you know how that goes.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's get ready to jump into the show. I always start off with the COVID report. Yesterday, I told you guys about an athlete who put up forward a fake COVID report to be able to compete and get past the trials. Then he tried to recant the story, and then he tried to move forward, with saying, hey, I know other people. Looks like, Talent, I'm going to throw this out to you and start with you and say, bro, the Olympics committee has made an announcement last night their day, our night. They made an announcement saying that they were going to recheck all of the COVID tests, and they're going to launch their own independent investigation against athletes who might have possibly obviously fake their own COVID test to play in the trials, to get to the trials to make the Olympics. So they're launching their own thing independent of what, they're going to have their own committee, and they're going to hire an independent committee. So they're going to have double check. They're going to check and then recheck to see who faked it or not, because they don't want people to get sick and spread it, which is good on their part. But what you think about all of this, Talent?
I think it's all BS. I think they're trying to find who faked the COVID test. They're going to fake an investigation. Think about that. I mean, come on, man. At this point, bro, we're so close. I think it's a waste of time. We're so close. Either we are or are not going to have the Olympics. Either way, we're too close. I don't think you come up with nothing in that little bit of time.
Okay. All right. Let me see what you think. What you think?
I agree with Talent, man. I think it's all BS, man. I saw a story yesterday, man, where it was mandatory for all athletes to come to the Olympic trials or they could not participate in the Olympics. This was going on during the middle and the heart of the COVID pandemic, when it was at its height. It was the IOC made it mandatory for all athletes to come to a location and to participate in the Olympic trials, or they could not participate in the Olympics. So wow. I think all of this other stuff is just a smoke screen, and like Talent said, is pure BS.
I just saw another news flash. Bill Cosby's getting released from prison right now.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. Yep, Bill Cosby's getting ready to be released right now. Overturn is wow, this is amazing. I'm sorry, Amir. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was kind of huge. But anyway, Amir, tell me what you think about this, bro. What's your thoughts?
Well, unfortunately, I'm one of those people who thought this whole thing was a hoax from day one, but that's a whole nother story, and we don't have time for that. But, I think that in all fairness to the Olympics, in all fairness to the athletes participating, again, we've been saying this since day one. We just want to make sure everybody's as safe as they can be under the circumstances. All the other stuff that they're doing, smoke screens aside, let's just make sure the athletes can compete on a level that is an even playing field and that everybody can come home safely. That's all we care about, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, the repercussions of the COVID report brings up the next story about, I don't know if you guys saw this about Simone Biles, but Simone Biles, she was adopted. She was later, well, first of all, she was given up for adoption by her biological mother. She spent a lot of time with, floating from foster care to foster care. And then she was eventually adopted by her grandparents, who have never missed an event. The Japanese officials have now let them know that her parents, her biological parents, her biological grandparents, who are the ones who adopted her, they told her and her family that she will not be able to have her family participate in the Olympics when she's getting ready to go for several other world records and set herself far apart from everybody who's doing the sport. Now, doesn't sound good to me. I don't like it. I understand, but I don't know what else they could do. What's your thoughts on this one, Talent?
Bro, I understand it. But I mean, again, this is one of those purgatory situations, man. Like, it doesn't go anywhere, for me. Like, it's no legs under it. All you can do is like understand a situation like this, feel the way you feel, and hopefully, move on from it and be blessed with the skills that you have. I mean, I think we power trip a lot of positions, especially in the sports arena and the Olympic arena. There's a lot of people that want to power trip, man. You know what I mean? And they get off on stuff like this. I mean, I think it's like, it makes zero sense. I mean, you get it, but how much power are we going to exercise? Just Simone Biles.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about family, bro, let me tell you something. I think you X out other people's families to make sure that some family can attend. It's Simone.
Right. I agree with you.
That's my thoughts on that. I mean,
I understand what you're saying, Fig. She should look at it, though, honestly, she should look at it like a blessing, because why should she even want her family, her grandparents, to go to a city whereas there's only 4 or 5% of them have been inoculated? You know what I mean? It could be a blessing in disguise. That's the way I think I would look at it, even though I know she'd be hurt that they can't attend. But, there's a blessing in everything. You know what I mean? You just got to find it. What you think, Fig?
Yeah, I agree. The thing is that if they was excluding her exclusively, like her family was the only one that couldn't be there and or participate, then I'd be like, why? Like, if other athletes' family members were allowed to come and support their their families in the Olympics, then I'd be like, why would they exclude her, exclusively? So my thing is, it's probably good that they don't go. And if I were her and my family, were older because they're her grandparents, I would tell them that they're the ones that would be most at risk, and I wouldn't want them to come anyway.
Yeah, that's how I would take it. Amir, how would you take it?
Y'all know I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. Look, these are grandparents. God, willing, they're going to be around for a very long time. But here's the other side of that. This is their granddaughter, who has become one of the most decorated gymnasts ever in the history of the game. Point blank, period. If, let's say, for some reason she goes on and she wins a ton of medals again, and they're not around for possibly the next Olympics, if she chooses to participate, they had a chance to see their granddaughter do the damn thing. So from that standpoint, I'm going to say that, again, this is all bogus. People choosing to participate or not participate in situations where their health is at risk should be up to the individuals. It should not be some state mandated thing or whatever. That should be up to the individuals. If our grandparents feel that they are healthy enough and strong enough to go over there and watch their granddaughter, they should be given that opportunity. Now, to the point that Fig just made, where it appears that they're doing it to all of the participants in the Olympics, that's a whole different story. But to me, that should still be an individual situation depending on who the people are.
Honestly, Amir, you bring up a great point. That's why I like that point counterpoint, man. That's a great point, because it should be their choice. You know what I mean? It should be their choice. Next up, man, I got to bring up the talent, man. Remember yesterday we were talking about the fan who helped design the Tour de France? Literally within 24 hours, they caught the fan, they arrested her, and they're trying to give her serious charges for doing that, because I don't know if you could charge her against stupidity, but if you could, she would definitely get.
I told you it was a woman. I told you.
Yeah, I saw it. She would definitely be arrested just on stupidity level alone. But what's your thoughts on the fan getting arrested at the Tour de France thing? What you think about that?
I think they should bend her over a knee and take old-fashioned style, take a belt to that ass. You know what I mean? Because that's some childish shit she did. You know, it's one of those things where you laugh real quick, like I said, and be like, "Yo, y'all all right?" And now you grab that kid, you bend him over the knee, you take that belt off, and you get some lashes on it. That's crazy. In all seriousness, like this is one of those iconic activities, if you will, that means a lot. It's been going on forever. These guys, call it what you want, they're super serious about this. I mean, I just bought a bike for $600. These guys' bikes, they put about 6,000 in those bikes, and very serious about this, Tour de France. And for a person just to do it that way, like jump out in front of these moving bikes, and people got injured, man. People got hurt for real. All jokes aside, people got hurt. I mean, they got to make an example of this woman.
I wholeheartedly agree. What do you think, Pig?
I think that she should be not only arrested, she should be taken to the middle of town square and flogged openly in public. They ought to put her head and hands in that thing, and they ought to take a big paddle or cane and just flog her and have the crowds come in and gather around and watch her suffer. Like Talon said, man, these guys, they put in jeopardy millions of dollars, because when you win this thing, for your team, there's so much money and endorsements, and to go out that way, I mean, there's a lot of things that could get into your way, because this race is like several days long or weeks long, and it's miles and miles and miles of grueling punishment on your body and stuff. And these guys train forever. And for somebody to interrupt that or just to make you lose that opportunity for something so stupid, the punishment has to be severe, man. Because the consequences to the riders are long lasting.
Fig, finally, you took the words out of my mouth. How about that? You took the words out of my mouth. Because I was going to say the training and the preparation that goes into that alone is not something you do for a week or two. These boys train for years to get to this point. The years. Amir, what's your thoughts?
It's so crazy. I finally actually saw the situation. And I don't know how old this young woman is. I don't, know what, part of the country, part of the world she's from. But you know what really we're looking at, as they say, if she's young, exuberance and youthfulness. That's all we're seeing here. Somebody who honestly, obviously made a mistake, and a big one, at a critical moment, but really just didn't even understand the magnitude and the significance of, one, where they were, and two, what they caused in just that, blink of an eye. Because when you see the picture, when they, brought the camera back and you see how many people got mangled up, it just reminded me of a lot of stupid football movies that I've seen where retarded things happen, or if you remember in Animal House when the band went down the alleyway and they all got mangled in the alley. It just made me think of all of that. So I laughed, like, Talent said, and like Fig said it for a moment. And then I just thought to myself, oh my God, this person is going to live in infamy already. So flogging and all those other things, trust me, they're never going to live this down, no matter what they do.
No, I understand that part too, but because you're young cannot be an excuse either. You know what I mean? Like, you can't slide with that one, bro, because sometimes some things, you know what my grandmother always said, is common sense is never common. You know what I mean? And that's the problem about this whole thing. She had absolutely no common sense. When you're leaning into the track and they're coming around, there will be some repercussions, even though you try to look at the camera. So she gets what she deserves. I'm sorry. That's just what I feel. Yeah. She gets what she deserves. Sorry. All right, next up, man. I want to talk about Chauncey Billups, because Chauncey Billups got announced as the head coach. We didn't talk about it too much yesterday, Talent, but believe it or not, people in Portland are up in arms about Chauncey Billups being, we talked about it last week. He got hired, but since in the week since he got hired, there's been people who've been up in arms because of the sexual assault allegation that came to him in 2000 that he was never charged with, right? All he did was pay, which he shouldn't have did if he felt he was not guilty. But he paid, of course, he settled out of court with him and Ron Mercer, former Celtic Ron Mercer. And he did that as a rookie in the league in 2000. This was 21 years ago. Portland Trailblazers people are upset because they're feeling that their star, Dame, might actually leave and might not like the hire when he said he does like the hire. What's your thoughts on this, Talent?
Well, first of all, barring all the hoopla, congratulations to Chauncey Billups. I think that people always look for anything, man. I think in the midst of people being successful, progress, accolades, and all that, there's always going to be that constituency of the other side. Yeah, but what about when he was doing this? What about when he did that? What I don't understand about America, we're hypocritical in our own right, because the whole point of our prison system, probation, parole, all these things are set in place to reprimand and rehabilitate.
Right.
Well, what is the use of rehabilitation if you won't let a person live a rehabilitated life? Mm-hmm. You went through the motions of what it is, the accusations, what happened, like you said, settled out of court. You've come to some sort of cuspice or end, so be it, only to be further down the line, decades, for it to be regurgitated back in your face and for you to be treated like you wasn't rehabilitated, that you didn't pay the price, that you didn't go through all the motions and things you had to go through. I think it's crazy and ludicrous, man. I think it's a shame and very hypocritical of us.
Yeah, I agree with that part. Fig, what you think?
Frank, it was 1997.
This
was almost 25 years ago. Almost 25 years ago. And they still talking about it. Listen, this is something that's only afforded to black people. I'm telling you, because if you tell these people, I was like, yeah, but what about all those people that attacked the Capitol? That was so long ago. Let's stay with today. We want to stick with today. That was such ancient history, and we don't want to talk about that. You're talking about 25 years ago. That's another lifetime. 25 years ago, we got an adult that could vote, that could go to war, that could drive, that could drink, that could smoke. 25 years. When do you ever get to live your history down or to move on and to progress when your skin is brown in the United States of America? When is your past just your past?
Great question. I'll say this too, Amir. Half the NBA players who are playing in the NBA weren't even born when this thing happened. They weren't even born. So
how about that?
Their mothers hadn't even met their fathers yet. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. They haven't even met their thing. So what do you think about this, Amir? What's your thoughts?
Another case of unfortunate situation where we're trying to disperse the man before he even actually has done anything in the field to which he was actually given the opportunity. To Talent's point, first of all, congratulations, Chauncey Billups. Happen to know him a little bit personally, so big kudos to him. But the biggest thing is this: who cares? Do you know how many people who are Portland fans probably have all kind of weird fetishes and odd stuff that they do in their homes? Do we sit around and do we make fun of you, or do we make you feel a special way because you have some oddities about you? Look, at the end of the day, to everybody's point, the man has more than gotten past that. He's continued to be a model citizen since then. If this was a reoccurring situation or something that was constantly coming up, then I understand it. But the fact that it hasn't happened again, he hasn't had anything remotely close to having to deal with that, not to mention, to the point that you made about him settling out of court. Sometimes some of these things are settled out of court, not because people don't feel that they're guilty. They're settled out of court because cats don't have the time nor the energy to go forward with all of the back and forth. Sometimes your resources aren't that long, and there's a whole bunch of other things that factor in. And when you start talking about the NBA or the entertainment industry in particular, i.e. what we started this whole story with Bill Cosby's thing being overturned, really, y'all? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what else, Frank? The fact that you could pay your way and make the case go away means it was civil and it wasn't a criminal case. So why are we talking about a civil case?
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what to say in this case. Honestly, it disgusts me to the high end because these guys felt they would not chase them and follow behind them, but they're not going to get past it. Whenever that they come up to try to get something big, it's going to always pop up, man. It's one of those things. Speaking of sexual assault and stuff like this, Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher. I don't know if you guys heard this story. Trevor Baeur, starting pitcher for the Dodgers, one of their top 3 in their head rotation. He got sexual assault charges filed against him yesterday. Except he's about to be criminal charges. Obviously, the LA Police Department has already said they're going to file charges against him. The woman is claiming that she was raped and she was handled and everything else. And he's already starting to say, his defense attorney's already come up and said, listen, she liked it rough. Here's the text messages. And in the text messages, she clearly says, I want you to strangle me. I want you to give it to me rough. I want you to do all that type of stuff to me rough. You know what I mean? That's all in the text messages. His attorney has already got ahead of all of that. So, Charlie, I don't know, man. It don't seem like we're gonna ever get with these kind of people do this kind of stuff. I don't know.
Fig, sit down. Don't go choke nobody.
What's your thoughts on this?
Fig got turned on. He got up to go choke somebody. Listen, let me tell you something, bro. And you know, ain't no shame in my game. When a man gets with a woman, whether it's his wife, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's a person's side chick or somebody he's seeing, we all have that thing where we would love to please the woman. And some of these women like some quote unquote freaky stuff. And if it ain't past your limits, you try to please the woman. So I hope to goodness that this gets looked at all the way, not just, oh, he choked it. Go into those text messages like you just found and do what you would do if it was vice versa. You would throw it out if it was vice versa, because if somebody says choke me and I choke you, and then you have regrets or whatever happens after, a lot of this goes down to the exit strategy. I tell dudes all the time, you want to do freaky stuff, you want to mess around out there, make sure you close the deal with a respectful exit strategy, because how you end the night could be the difference of her waking up going, you know what? I'm pressing charges.
Bro, this sounds like that you know a lot of stuff about this, man. This sounds like
Bro, we all know about it.
Yeah.
We watched it happen to Tupac. We watched it happen to Kobe. We watched it happen to several people that these things started off consensual. And because of how a person felt after the fact, ended up this way. If on what day could we ignore this other than the Cosby day?
You know what, bro? You're going to have to stop wearing body cams. That's the only thing I can think of.
No, that's a dope idea.
We're going to start wearing body cams like the police pick.
And then as soon as they go, why the footage ain't right on your body cam, go, man, I was sweating.
Check it out.
I started in that,
the action cam would look like this. A whole bunch of that. Yo, y'all get me out of my thing. Fig, what you think about this, man?
Hey, man, Talent said it best years ago. He said, when you tell somebody you're a freak, you got to realize there's levels to this. You know, a guy might push a refrigerator on top of you.
Exactly.
And push a refrigerator on you, like, you like that, don't you?
Freativity.
Yo, man, listen. She asked for it, and she got it. Now she's talking about, I didn't want it. You're lying. You're lying because he got evidence. And that's the one thing that you can never deny is when you got listen, if you send a text message, if you send an email, it's there forever. Even if you send them pictures is there forever. So whatever you do, just notice somebody can come back and be like, yeah, but you said you wanted me to do this. I got it right here in the text message. What charges are we talking about?
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Amir, your thoughts?
You know, again, it's always funny when you hear these kinds of stories because you think to yourself, you know, about like Talent just mentioned, your own escapades and things that you've been through. And he's absolutely right. It's the exit strategy. If you know, are the type of person who, once all is said and done, you know, usher the person off, you know, leisurely. Hey, look, I got an Uber outside for you. I think there's some water, some Haagen-Dazs and all that, you know, on the way out, whatever. You may or may not find yourself in these situations. But if you are on some, hey, look, yeah, you're going to have to find your own way home, blah, 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 blah. It can go a whole lot differently. In this particular case, to you know, to the point that there's text messages involved, it just lends to how comical some of this stuff really is.
Hold on.
I'm sorry if I'm
Hold on.
Yo, man.
Frank thought it excuse me. Frank said it sound like you know what you're talking about. No, it sound like he do. Haagen-Dazs.
That's why I'm laughing. I was like, we had this whole thing planned out. He said, oh, hey, Talon, check this out. I got my cab check. I got my Haagen-Dazs check.
Yo, man, let me tell you something. Yo, Amir, I just want to tell you, man, you an amateur. I can't believe you got Haagen-Dazs left over. You're supposed to use that during the act.
Yo, Amir, I'm ashamed of you, bro.
Yeah.
What, Haagen-Dazs? So on Thursday and Friday, use Ben and Jerry's? Oh my God, you got me crying.
Yo,
Ben and Jerry's is for the weekend.
Frank said Haagen-Dazs, check. Cab money, check. Oh, body cam, check.
Oh my God. Y'all, thank you for making me laugh. Today's definitely been a good show. Y'all are hilarious, man. Haagen-Dazs. But you know the sad thing is we're living in a society now where as we need to do something because people are going to jail because of one word versus another. I don't know how else to get past this and everything else. I knew a brother when I was in college. He used to have a camera when he was having sex with any woman. I don't want to say much more than that, but he had a camera in the room because he was so worried about somebody saying something like that to accuse him of something. I was like, dude, you're strange. Why would you do that? If women find out about you and everything else, you can go to jail. But now thinking about it years later, I'm like, yo, you know what? That's not a bad idea because somebody can't say you did something. He said, Trevor Baeur automatically said, all our sex we had, everything was rough, was consensual. And he said, I can prove it by the text messages. The next step is going to be, I can prove it by the videos. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, you got a great point there. In the state of New York, you know, it's illegal to record somebody without their consent, right? So you beat the rape charge, but you do 5 years on that.
Hilarious. You do 5 years because you videotape.
You know what? I'd rather go to jail for videotaping the chick than go to jail for raping the chick. I don't care what nobody says.
Absolutely. Hey, yo, man, let me tell you something, man. It's funny that we start talking about stuff like this because a mere accusation, we've had whole towns destroyed, burned, set fire, bombed, raided, riots because a woman said that a man attacked her.
Yeah, right. It's happened. It's happened. We could go into a whole conversation about it. Yeah. Let me move on because I'm going to jump into the next story, which I found interesting, and I'm going to throw it out to you. Talon, start with this, man. Damon Stoudemire is now about to be one of the assistant head coaches of the Boston Celtics staff. Now, if you guys remember Damon Stoudemire, he was one of the best point guards in the league at the time. He also was the NBA Rookie of the Year. He came out blazing on the Toronto Raptors. They're bringing him in and talent. They don't have a point guard. Interesting thought. So it says to me, talent, that they're going to probably continue on and trying to get a point guard, and they're doing something because they already see they have some issues. What's your thoughts on the coaches getting the Boston Celtics getting Damon Stoudemire on their staff?
Well, I mean, it's ironic that Chauncey Billups is going to his team, the coach, and he's going over there.
Exactly.
You couldn't land a job at your old job? Somebody burned some bridges. No, I mean, that's a good look. I mean, I agree with you. In his day, he was a top 5 point guard at that time that he played. And he definitely was one of those guys who had a high basketball IQ. So I think that's a plus for the Celtics, man. I think that's dope. You know, you could tell they want to win because they are loading up with the coaching staff of knowledgeable, high basketball, not just ex-players, but with the high IQ. I like that.
I agree with that part. Fig, what you think?
Man, the fact that you said they don't have a point guard, what is he supposed to be, a player coach? I mean, David Stockball can't play no more. No, but he does, like Talon said, he did have a high basketball IQ, man. He was an all-star, undersized too, man, an undersized all-star. And yeah, man, I just think that when you have players that played the game at a high level, it could only increase what you have on your team as far as credibility, as far as telling these guys what and what not to do, the ins and out. Like in the playoffs right now, as you can see, some of the ex-players that are coaches have their players playing at a higher level, and they just seem to be able to perform better. So kudos, man. I think this is going to be a great hire for Boston, and let's see what happens, man.
Right. To the man who I have the utmost newfound respect for, Amir, with the Haagen-Dazs, tell me what you think.
I think that again, this is definitely a great move for the Boston Celtics. Damon Stoudemire, stellar point guard, and seemingly a great person. The other part of getting your coaching staff together is having stellar character, because you're going to ask these men to then lead other young men, and it appears that the Boston Celtics are really headed in a very, very good direction in terms of trying to put together a staff that will then lead the team and the players to come into the future. So I think this is great, man. I can't wait to see how this plays out.
I can't either, because I think that they're going to go and get themselves a available person out there. I don't know if it's going to be Dennis Schroeder, because he wants $120 million, and he's the next big name that's out there. I don't know if they're going to make a trade. Me being a Celtics fan, I want to see something happen. But the next big thing is, before we talk about Yanis getting injured last night at the game, because I want to talk about that in a second. But you guys, I don't know if you guys heard this rumor this morning, but this rumor this morning is that if you even saw it on the boards or anything else like that, man, is Kemba Walker is going to get traded imminently, and it looks like the Lakers have checked in, and it might be the Lakers. So I'm going to throw it out to, since Talon's not there, I'm going to throw it out to Fig and say, Fig, do you think Kemba Walker joining the Lakers is a good addition? Because I'm going to tell my opinion before I throw it to you, Fig, is Kemba Walker, it would be an excellent addition because his passing ability to the Lakers, and then he could take over the point and get the ball out of LeBron's hands, because LeBron's getting older. He doesn't need to be the point. Fig, what you think about that?
I'm a little concerned, because even when LeBron has had a guy who could play point guard, he seemed to have more ball usage than the actual point guard than he had on the team. And those guys, although they did okay, I think they might have been able to do better. You talk about guys like Kyrie Irving, some of the point guards that they had in Miami. And even last year, they had Dennis Schroeder that was on the Lakers. LeBron has the ball in his hand quite a bit. And they say that he's a point forward or whatever. People rave about his passing ability and stuff like that. So is LeBron willing at this stage of his career to play off the ball now and not have ball usage? That's what gives me pause. But Kemba Walker himself, I believe, is a really good point guard, can distribute the ball well, and he can break down the defense, get into the paint, kick, and he can score. So him as a player is just really good. I don't know if he's going to fit on the Lakers with LeBron James and AD. That's my only caveat to it.
Talon, I'm going to throw the question to you, because I was saying, I don't know if you heard it or not, but I was saying that Kemba Walker looks like he's going to get traded imminently to the Los Angeles Lakers. I think in LeBron's older years and everything else, that'd be a good move, so it's not putting so much stress on him to bring the ball up. And you know what I mean? All he has to do is, do the wing plays and everything else. I think it's it'd be an excellent move for the Lakers. But what you think?
I mean, to any basketball fan, sounds like a great move, but Fig is correct. You got to realize, I think you guys forgot that LeBron didn't just handle the ball a lot. He made an official announcement at the beginning of said season he was going to play the point.
Mm-hmm.
He said that himself. He said, I'm going to play the point. So that is the question. Fig is absolutely right. Is LeBron willing to share the rock or play off the rock? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's a great trade if you get to fully utilize a Kemba Walker, but if you bring him there to only use him less, you could have bought him.
I don't see that at all. Amir, Kemba Walker is undersized. If the Lakers are interested in bringing him to the Lakers, they've already had talks, to me, I think. They've already had talks amongst themselves saying, we need to make sure LeBron understands he cannot be the point because Kemba Walker is an excellent point, one of the best point guards in the league. And he needs to be the point and bring the ball up, and then we set up the play. That's the only way I think it'll work because Kemba Walker ain't got no size. You know what I mean? That's what used to bother me a lot about him altogether watching him play for the Celtics. He couldn't D up nobody. He played some good defense, but he couldn't stop nobody because he was so small. So I can't see why else the Lakers be interested in him unless it's to be the point. What you think, Amir?
Here's probably what you guys may or may not have thought of. He's probably not going to be in the first unit. He's going to be in the second unit.
Oh, good
Issue
point.
for the Lakers is they don't have anybody to run the second unit. The first unit obviously is LeBron's job and AD and whoever else, but they don't have anybody to run the second unit. And that's where LeBron has actually had more trouble throughout his whole entire career. It hasn't been him handling the rock. It's when he sits down. When he's in the game, they're good. They're in the game. Dudes are doing well. As soon as he sits down is when his team seem to falter. So you bring a guy like Kemba Walker who can score, who can dish, who can run the team. When LeBron sits his behind down, guess who can come in and hopefully hold down the fort? Now, to your point about him being undersized, in the second unit, he's not going to be going up against anybody of size and of stature. So he'll hopefully be able to run that second unit and keep them in games or extend, if they have a lead or whatever the case may be. In my guesstimation, that's what I'm looking at them, looking at him, bringing him to the team from that standpoint. Now, I could be wrong, but to me, that makes much more sense than the first unit because, again, they have, to me, all of the players in the first unit who really are going to be, a major part of that, decision.
Amir, you're batting 1,000 today, bro. You're batting 1,000. Great
Right.
point. Great point.
Do you know who they're giving up for Kemba?
I didn't get that far. Talent. I'm gonna throw it out to you, man. We saw Yanis get hurt last night. Yanis got hurt for a minute there. I thought he was done for the next 6 months. He gets up. He's not as bad off. He could put some weight on it and everything else. But the question remains: can the Milwaukee Bucks hang in there with the Atlanta Hawks without Yanis? I'm not so sure. It looked really serious to me last night. Yanis needs to come back sooner rather than later. But anyway, that's my take. What's your thoughts on Yanis being out, the Trey coming back, and the Milwaukee Atlanta Hawks series? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, automatically, as soon as he got hurt, I said, well, now it's a 7-game series all over again. Giannis don't get hurt. Who knows how that game ends, and more importantly, is a shorter series. But now, I think even with Trey coming back and his little tweak, you're going to have a little anticipation on both sides. So I think I'm looking at 6-7 game series automatically now. It's a shame he got hurt because, I was having fun watching it. But this is that season, huh? This is those playoffs. I mean, we've seen it East Coast, West Coast, 8 seed, 1 seed, didn't matter. Injuries is plaguing the playoffs.
Bro, I've never seen so many injuries in the NBA in my entire life. I've never seen it happen. But Fig, what's your thoughts on this? We look at the Bucks versus the Hawks. We're looking at this. Does the series change dramatically to you, or do you think the Bucks still can take this one? What you think?
I think the Bucks are going to get their behind severely whipped because them young boys over in Atlanta is playing high quality basketball. They're playing like with house money and with no fear. And I don't like any of the moves that Coach Budenholzer is making. And all of these guys are playing out of position. I don't see any. I don't see the point guard with the ball enough. Middleton can't see him. One game he's a superstar. The next day he can't hit the broadside of a barn. They got Yanis, which is damn near 7 feet tall, taking 3-pointers. Lopez is over on the side taking 3-pointers. Ain't nobody in the paint. I'm just like, this is the dumbest basketball I have ever seen in my entire life. This positionless basketball is stupid. It's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. You mean to tell me you shooting 30% from three, but you can shoot damn near 90% from the paint, but you still taking 3-pointers? You're stupid.
Amir, what's your thoughts?
You know, it's so crazy. Like, obviously, seeing Giannis go down was a major concern. Off the cuff. But here's my thing. I think that the Milwaukee Bucks still have enough firepower. To Fig's point, they're just being coached wrong. Look, you got a 7-footer still in Brook Lopez. Again, Brook, you're a big guy. Go down and do what big guys do. Y'all stop with all this other foolishness that y'all are doing. Yesterday, I watched the game. They started shooting. First of all, to me, when you're a big man and you shoot an air ball from 3-point, if they don't pull you out the game or your teammates don't smack you as you come to the sideline, then they're not really your teammates and they're not your friends. Because you're not supposed to be shooting air balls from 3-point. So with that having been said, I think the biggest thing that the Bucks are, up against are themselves. Guys, basketball is still a simple game. Just put the ball in the basket by virtue of simple plays. Once y'all start doing that, as they did in the 2 games prior to this, it was easy for y'all. Y'all start making the game harder for yourselves by doing stuff that isn't necessary. The last thing I'll say about this, and I said this a while back, this also could be, as I told y'all, the whole setup for 6 or 7 games, because the NBA will milk this to the very end if they can.
They sure will. But also, but nobody said. Well, I think somebody said it. Drew Holiday, man, is underperforming. Like I'm surprised that this dude was balling out all year, balling out all in the playoffs. As soon as he get to the Hawks series, all of a sudden he forgot how to play ball. I don't understand what's going on with that dude. That dude should be smoking the guards on Atlanta. He really should be smoking them. And he's getting out.
He'll show up.
He better, because if he doesn't, they won't. Chris Middleton can't handle it by himself. But anyway, let's talk about the next series, man. The next series has my interest level to the utmost because I'm loving what's going on with Paul George, but I'm also loving what's going on with the Phoenix Suns, man. So the game is tonight. So I'm going to ask you, Talent, what do you think is going to happen in the game tonight? Tonight is a very pivotal game, obviously.
Well, I think because where it is, I think the Clippers forced this game 7. The good news is they, got potential to force the game 7. The bad news is game 7 is going to be played in Phoenix.
Right.
So either way, we're in for a hell of a entertaining matchup again. This series has not let anyone down.
Right.
I don't care what nobody say. I mean, other than the people that, you hate to see people get injured, but as far as balling out, these 2 teams have given us our money worth.
Right.
David Stern is sitting up right now. David Stern is like this. You know what I mean? Like this basketball at its finest. So I look forward to this. I'm going to be rushing my work tonight to try to catch the second half of this.
Right. I got to say too, man, it's literally one of the best playoff series I've seen in a long time.
Yes,
Do you think the Suns is going to be able to close it out tonight? Because let me just add this before I throw it to you, Vic. If the Suns don't close it out, I think the series is over, in my opinion. Because Chris Paul will mentally, it's a whole mental thing. Another 3-1 series, he can let go, and I think it could affect the whole team. But I don't know. What you think, Vic?
I always thought that the Clippers had the best team in the West anyway. Mm-hmm. I thought that the Suns would do well. I didn't know that they would do this well. I thought that they would ball out. They're beatable. The Suns are beatable. DeAndre Ayton didn't play very well, but here's the thing. He's going up against a veteran. I mean, Boogie Cousins has been injured quite a bit, but Boogie Cousins is a veteran. Markieff Morris, he's a dog. Nothing to sneeze at. So if he's playing defense on you and, he's down there on the block with you, you better have some veteran savvy with you as DeAndre Ayton if you think you can handle this dude. So kudos to my man, Ty Lue. Kudos to Ty Lue putting these guys in a position to play their best. And I like the veteran team over the young guys.
Okay. So you think the Clippers are going to pull it out? Let me ask my NBA connoisseur, Amir, in your experience, what do you think? Because you've had a brother play in the league and everything else. You know how the mentality is of the NBA players and everything else. You know how they're thinking when they go in tonight. In your experience, What do you think is going to happen in the game tonight? What would you expect to see? What's your thoughts?
You know, because the game is in the Clippers, I do expect actually the Clippers to win this game. The interesting thing about it is once it gets to a game 7, I know everybody's like, oh, it's a mental thing. I can share this with y'all because it's the honest to God truth. I remember when Malik was, I think he was a rookie, and they had that stretch where Reggie Miller made those threes in like 9 seconds. It was like 4 threes or something in 9 seconds. I was in the Garden for that game.
Wow.
And I remember they had put up that thing from Animal House where John Belushi gives that terrible speech.
Yeah.
They put that up on the big screen, and the crowd went bonkers. And Reggie Miller just went off. So really, this is all going to boil down to whether or not the veterans of the Los Angeles Clippers and the learning to be veterans and the new superstars of the Suns, who has less jitters, because Devin Booker has been balling. Obviously, Chris Paul has been balling. All of the stars that we mentioned on the Clippers have been balling. So it's really just going to boil down to whose stars don't catch jitters in the closing moments of either one of these last 2 games. I look for the Clippers, like I said, to take tonight and for this to go to a game 7 and for us to have a hell of a game 7, when that game goes down.
So I know Talent is taking the Clippers, right? Talent, am I wrong?
Absolutely. Clippers all day, baby.
Big, you're taking the Clippers, and Amir, you're taking the Clippers.
No, actually, I'm taking the Suns. I'd like to see the Suns do it. There's no disrespect to the Clippers, but I'd like to see the Suns do it.
Yeah, I like to see the Suns do it too. I mean, honestly, because I think it's Chris Paul. I think it's his turn. You know what I mean? That's all I think. I think Chris Paul realizes it. I think it's his turn.
You know, they say that I know this is crazy, but they're saying that the team is playing worse when Chris Paul is playing. They say because what he does is he sort of slows it down. He slow walks the ball up. They said it's better with that kid Payne. They said the team plays better when Payne is in there. Like the 2 games that Chris Paul missed, they won. You know what I mean? He said the team just looks better. I know Chris Paul is a veteran. He's given a lot to the team, but they say they play better without Paul on the floor.
But that goes to what you said. Think about coaching. So that's what I'm saying. You got to look at that. Chris Paul. If this is your opportunity to hopefully cement some more of your legacy, sir, then you have to be man enough to go, you know what? Maybe they are doing a little bit better without me. I only need to be in here for spurts.
Right. Now let me change the subject because I want to get this squeeze this last thing into because I saw a couple of news items. We ain't talked about it for the last couple of days. So Talent, I'm gonna start out with you, man. Ben Simmons, everybody knows he's having problems and everything else. He was supposed to play for the Australian Olympic team. Everything else. He turned down the Australian Olympic team saying he wants to basically work on his game. Now, the problem, whispers has been coming out of Philly saying that Ben Simmons is not really working the way he should and has not been working the way he should. He's got too many yes people around him. He's not going to the right camps and not working on the game the way he's supposed to be working on everything else. Now, do you think that he will actually work this summer and get his game better? Or do you expect Ben Simmons to be the same guy when he shows up in Philly this year because he has too many yes people around him? What's your thoughts on that?
Man, screw all that. That Negro is Australian?
I didn't know that either. Yeah, he's supposed to play with team in Australia. I didn't know that either. But yeah.
They got niggers in Australia?
Yeah, I mean.
You mean that niggers is down under? Wow.
Hey, they're everywhere.
You're an educator, Frank. You're an educator, man.
They're everywhere, bro. You didn't know about that. Niggers are everywhere.
Yeah. If they could be in Boston, they could be everywhere. That's
you got that right. All right,
I'll tell you this, man. Nothing is surprising about Ben Simmons. When I just look at Ben Simmons take the court, he doesn't strike me as that guy going to camps and working out. He's just a regular looking dude in a uniform. So none of this is surprising news. And then maybe he has the same itis that Embiid has. Remember what Bonzi Wells said about Embiid? He said he likes the idea of being an NBA star, but they don't like the work that has to go into being that next level. They're not the first in the gym. They're not the last out the gym. At some point in the afternoon, they come through the gym and get a glass of water dap a couple people up, exchange numbers,
Right.
follow people on Instagram, and then they get the hell out of it.
Greg, you got 60 seconds. Talk to me. What you think?
I ain't know one brown guy that does well after he gets hooked up with a Kardashian. So I'm going to say he got Kardashianitis.
And I believe you because I don't either. I don't know one either. Amir, you got 60 seconds, bro.
Hey, I'm hoping that, even though he does have these yes men around him, hopefully he's taking into account everything that is going on around him and the unwarranted or warranted, stuff that is being said about him. And hopefully he takes his career more seriously. If he doesn't take it seriously, then why should we really care? It's really up to him.
Yeah, great point. Talent, we got to roll up out of here. Please tell everybody quickly about your 30-year thing coming up. We got to keep promoting this, bro. What's your thought?
Hey, man, the 30th of July at the end of the month, it is the 30th anniversary comedy special weekend getaway in Atlantic City. You want to be involved, email me, talent@itsjustcomedy.com. We got the box seats crew in the building. We got comedians. We got performers. We got hot DJs. And we're going to be giving away a lot of cash prizes. Want to see you in Atlantic City, July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. Talent@itsjustcomedy.com.
Fig.
Your boy Comedian Fig on all social media platforms. Box seats, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Ask Amir. He'll tell you.
Amir. Amir, we can't hear you.
Amir Sealy right there written at the bottom, Barocksealy on IG and Amir Sealy on everything else. And I'm usually hanging around with these really cool guys whenever they allow me to. Box seats. It's official.
Again, Amir, thank you for sitting in for Rodney Perry. We greatly appreciate that. So
Good looking, bro.
Good, thank you, bro. That's Amir. That's Fig. That's Talent. Now I'm getting ready to go check in the news on Bill Cosby, see what went down.
Brother,
with that.
I'm going live. As soon as I hang up, I'm going live.
Amir,
come on in, Fig. Come on in, Frank. Come on in. I got something because I read this story, and it's something that there's a big lawsuit coming. Cosby about to be richer than richer.
Yeah, he gonna sue the state. He gonna sue.
Okay.
He gonna sue everybody. Well, hold on. I'm gonna say it like Kermit the Frog. I'm gonna sue everybody.
and that's Pennsylvania. He about to sue the Amish ass off their ass.
Yeah,
That's right.
Ooh.
I'm going to sue everybody. I'm going to sue everybody. I'm going to sue everybody.
All right, y'all. We out. We got to get roll up out of here, man. Thank you all for watching the show. Box Seats the show. Humor Mills the channel. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.